Hi.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, I am about to go feral right now. I am telling you, this book we're about to talk about today, it just is one of those books that just gave me the freaking warm and fuzzies. It's one of those books that like reminded me why I love to read so much. You know, like I always know that, but you just get a book every once in a while where you're just like, yes, absolutely. It just like hits all those points for you. It's just like all the things you love, and it just like lit a fire within me. I have not seen nearly enough people talking about this book. I know it literally just came out a few weeks ago, so I'm gonna let it slide, but also I'm here to pound it into every one of your heads that you need to get your hands on this book right this second because I'm so freaking obsessed. It is The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegemund-Broka. That is such a mouthful to say all of that, but literally so worth it because absolutely yes. As always, if I love a book, I don't want to give you guys any spoilers, so I'm not going to be doing that in this video. Don't you worry. I'm just going to generally talk to you about this book, give you my thoughts, and then you can go and read it for yourself. But I have so many things to say, so let's just get into it. So this story follows a girl named Katrina and a guy named Nathan. They are both writers. They met several years prior to the start of this book at a sort of like writing convention workshop sort of thing in New York City, and when they met, they just hit it off in more ways than one. I mean, they got along right away, but when it came to their writing, they just knew right away that they were so in sync with one another. They had such similar writing styles, and even though they really appreciated each other's work separately, they just knew that they could make something amazing together. So they ended up teaming up to become this writing duo, and they ended up becoming this huge sensation. Like, they sold several best-selling books, one in particular that was just like huge, topped all the charts. Like, everybody and their mother read this book. They were a sensation, people were obsessed with them, and they wanted them to just keep writing books together forever. But that did not happen, because what we learn at the beginning of the story is that Nathan and Katrina, for some reason, made their partnership come to an end. They stopped writing books together, they went their separate ways, and it's been several years since, and they have kind of tried to go off on their own. They've done separate things. Nathan has written a book or two since Katrina. They haven't done super well because everybody misses her on his writing, misses them together. He's just a super motivated person, and he constantly has to write every single day, so he's never going to give up, and he wants his work to be read and he wants it to be out there, but it's just hard to get those sales without Katrina's name on it because people love them for their partnership and what they were. Katrina, on the other hand, has not written a word since they separated, and Katrina has now found herself in a new situation personally, and I won't get into that because I feel like I just want you to read it because it's kind of a spicy part to the story. But long story short, both of them are struggling in their own ways, and it comes to their attention that they actually are contracted to write one more book together. They had signed a contract when they started their partnership for a certain amount of books, and there was one left that they never fulfilled. They kind of just like went their separate ways, and you know, their books sold super well, but then their publisher is like, hey, we need that last book from you. We paid you for it. It's gotta happen. So basically, Nathan and Katrina are now forced to come back together and write this book, and they're doing it in this same small house in Florida, in this really small town where they wrote their last best-selling book together, and also the same place where they went their separate ways. And what is so freaking good about this book, it's literally my favorite thing in romance books. This book flashes from the present to the past. It's one of those books where, you know, your present day, you know, these two people have been separated from each other for a while. You see that there's a lot of like tension and angst between them now, but we as the readers don't know what's going on inside their heads, what made them go their separate ways, what they're so angry about, but we get to experience it firsthand because we get these flashbacks. Every so often, we flash back to 4 years earlier when they were writing their best-selling book together. You see their relationship then kind of blooming and blossoming, like the way they worked together, the way they wrote together, the things that they shared, their creative process. And now you're seeing them present day, and it's like you're slowly putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and I just love that. I love it so much, and this book just did it so freaking well. But one element of this story that is so freaking cool, there were many, but keep in mind, Katrina and Nathan are writing together, and they are writing romance together. And when you're a writer, as they talk about in this book, you're gonna obviously put a lot of yourself into a story. You're gonna put a lot of things that you like. You're gonna put yourself into these characters on the page. So Katrina and Nathan in a lot of ways end up like communicating to each other through their writing, and they know so much about the other person because of what they write and their preferences and what they write and the way that they do romance in their books. If you know what I'm saying, like it's so interesting, it's so good. And in fact, fun fact, this book, to just make it even better, because I was thinking about this the entire time I was reading it, it was actually written by a real life husband-wife writing duo, this Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegemund-Broka. I had heard of them previously. They have written a whole bunch of books together. They were like some smarty pantses. They went to like Harvard and Princeton or something, and now they're married and they write like best-selling romance novels. Like, excuse me? First of all, I could literally never. Mind control freak ass could not write with another human. I feel like much less a guy I was married to. I feel like that'd be so hard. But also I'm not married, so I don't know. But props to them, because I feel like they already just clearly write well together, but it's so cool them writing this story of like this dual point of view, guy and girl that are writing together when that's what they're doing. Like, it just is so good. I love when people write from experience, and I love when authors put like their profession into their writing, or like things that they've previously done, because it just makes it so much more like authentic and real. But yeah, that's my very long ramble about this book, generally what it's about. We obviously see them writing this new book, tensions rise, things heat up, things are revealed, and it's just such a good time. But if I have not yet convinced you, the synopsis might have sounded familiar to some of you. You might have been like, okay, I feel like I've heard this before. I feel like I've read it before. I think I can help you out with what you're thinking of. Probably thinking of Beach Read by Emily Henry. And that is exactly what I thought myself when I read the synopsis of this book, when I saw my good Bookstagram friend Chelsea talking about this. I know you're watching this, Chelsea. Thank you so much. But it sounds a lot like Beach Read, because you know, Beach Read is also about two writers writing romance together, you know, going on these like research outings, having tension between them, a past that we don't know a lot about. Very similar vibes. But if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you would know I didn't love this book. It really disappointed me. It just had so much potential, and I was so excited about the concept, but in the end it just didn't deliver for me, which made me so upset, because I adored People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Literally one of my absolute favorite books I read last year, one of my favorite books ever. Like, I never shut up about this book. I loved it so much. So Beach Read was such a letdown for me. But let me freaking tell you, this book for me is everything Beach Read wasn't. It's everything Beach Read could have been. It just is like Beach Read on crack. And what it truly is, honestly, it took all of the parts of Beach Read that I didn't love, or that I just thought could have been better, and replaced it with aspects of People We Meet on Vacation. Because if you've read this book, you know it's a similar story of present day, to a guy and a girl that have been separated from each other, coming back together, and every other chapter we are flashing back to the past. We're seeing them on vacations they previously went on. We're putting the pieces together, seeing present day what they're going through, and it all comes to just a freaking explosion once we figure it out literally, that's this book. This book is a combination of these two books, like all the best parts of it, and it just works. It just freaking works. It also is the same with like those summery vibes, like People We Meet on Vacation. This, you know, takes place in Florida. They're at this little house together, like you're seeing all their past memories, and they're writing a book together, like beach read. Like it just is so, well, technically in beach read, if we want to get really technical, they're not writing a book together, they're each writing separate books, but they're sharing their writing processes with each other. You guys know what I mean. I don't have to get too specific, but just when I had this revelation, I was just like, oh my God, because truly, this book broke my heart. And I know I'm in the minority here. A lot of you people are probably like, what is wrong with you? I clicked on this video because that's my favorite book. Look, I hear you. Everybody and their mother adores this book, but it just simply didn't hit for me. But it's okay because this one did. This one did. Have I said enough? Like truly, I'm just like going on and on and on here. But yeah, in conclusion, this book was a fat 5-star for me. It was my favorite book I've read all year. I know it's only February, but still, I loved it. I adored it. And yeah, I'm gonna have to check out other things by this writing duo, this husband and wife writing duo, because they killed it. But yes, believe it or not, that is it for me today. If you guys have read this book, or if you end up reading this book, come back, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. I would love to hear all the things you have to say. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.